Today's show is full of emotion. We're joined by two sisters separated by birth and years and mystery. And before each knew the other existed, they lived a few miles from each other, right here in Las Vegas. They join us live with their amazing story.
Seen a better look. Well, guys, these two women met in person just 1 month ago, living blocks away from each other. They never met, but a DNA test brought them together as sisters. Get ready to hear their incredible story. That's coming up next.
I'm never going to believe this. Someone lives in Vegas who's related to me. And then in parentheses, I go, wouldn't it be crazy if this is my half-sister?
We both lived in the northwest part of the valley. We literally lived 2 intersections from each other up until she bought this house here. And then she works for the city of Las Vegas. I work for the county. Her husband works for the city. My husband works for the county, so we're both local government. She applied for the job, the same job I do, in the same department, and had she gotten that job, she would have sat next to me.
So the story of these half-sisters is getting national attention. They're a lot like a lot of sisters. They have similar jobs, they live near each other, pretty typical, right? But here's what makes their story amazing. Neither sister knew the other sister existed. Living right around the corner, they could have really bumped into one another at the grocery store checkout, never even known it. The two found each other through a DNA test, and the sisters are with us this morning. We'd like to welcome Lainey and Allison. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Lainey, you're the one who initially did the DNA test, right?
Yes.
What drove you to do that?
My health. I had health issues. I have a bad heart and high cholesterol, the list, I have a laundry list. But every time I'd go to the doctor, they'd ask me, does your mom or dad have it? And I'm like, I have no idea because I was adopted. So. And
so how did the DNA test results go from focusing on health to focusing on this family that you didn't know you had?
Well, there's kind of a little bit of a backstory to it. When I first did it, about 2 years had gone by and I really didn't have any hits. And then I was sick and I was in the line at Walgreens and I got a ping on my phone and it was this guy that says, "Hey, I think I'm your half brother." And who was from Florida, So the more we started talking, at first he said, "You might be my aunt or you might be my half-sister, but I think you're my half-sister." And so we started talking. Well, come to find out, he made his dad take the test, and it was conclusive that his father is my biological father. Mm-hmm. But this guy, I call him Florida Steve because my brother in Texas, his name's Steve. So Florida Steve has almost the cookie cutter heart issues that I have, and they both manifested maybe within 2 years of each other later on in life, which we never knew had. And so Steve came out to Vegas to meet me in November, and after that, since I knew on my paternal side, he was more on a mission to find my maternal side of the family.
Sure.
And he works for FedEx, but he's an IT guy, so he's like real tech savvy, and so he's the one who actually found, because we had names, we did have names, and so he had a lot to go on. And but what confused us is we thought, since I was born in Louisiana, that my birth mother was from Louisiana, but he kept finding stuff in Florida.
And so you were born in Louisiana, grew up in Texas. Allison, you grew up in Florida.
And then I moved to Colorado with my mom.
And so, Lainey, you reached out to Allison on email, right?
Yes, yes.
And what was your reaction, Allison?
So, our mom passed away in 2005, and after that, my grandmother had facilitated the adoption, and she had told my aunt and I, "Hey, she has a half-sister out there." And my aunt said, "Do you want help to look for her?" And I said, I want to be delicate. It's a delicate situation. I'm open to being found, but I'm going to let that be the choice of my sister, not mine. And so that was about 13 years ago, right after my mom had passed away. So I knew she was out there, but I didn't put any energy in it. And so the day Lainey sent me an email, I read it, and I had some other things that I was really excited about. And so I just quickly said, "Oh, what a crazy small world. I have somebody that I'm related to in Vegas." So I responded back and I said, "Yeah, let's get together. Let's have lunch. We'll figure it out."
But I didn't tell her I thought she was my half-sister. I didn't want to freak her out.
Yes.
Right.
And
I said, I think we're related.
Well, and so then right after I replied to her, I sent an email to my aunt, and I go, "Check this out. It's such a small world." And then in parentheses, wouldn't this be crazy if it was my half sister? And then my aunt, who's in the news industry, was like, "Are you? I mean, her, you know, detective, investigatory. She was like, we have to figure this out." And then she said, "You have to write back to Lainey right away." And when I wrote back, then Lainey kind of said, "Let me be delicate and let me kind of full disclosure and explain everything. And then if you want to meet, we can meet." And so she was very cautious to, you know, kind of not alarm me or kind of shock me. And I immediately wrote back, "Oh, I knew I had a sister somewhere." and
So you were both drawn to Las Vegas. You both have very similar jobs, live around the block from each other. Have there been any coincidences since you've come together where you think you might have bumped into each other?
I mean, it seems so likely. I mean, it's hard to know because we weren't on each other's radar then. But
just
I mean,
strangers in passing.
Yeah, but up in the Centennial Hills area, there wasn't a lot of development for the last decade. So Smith's or Albertsons were the two shopping centers. We went to Kohl's, we went to the Target. So I mean, it just seems likely. Where her daughter is a stylist, my husband definitely went to get his haircut. So it's possible they passed.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you couldn't know, but it just seems likely.
And a lifetime of catching up to do.
Yeah.
So glad you guys found each other. Lainey, Allison, thank you both so much for sharing your story. It's absolutely incredible, and we wish you all the best in your life moving forward together.
Yes, in the valley.
Rachel, over to you.
All right, thanks, you guys.